So we'll take you on that shop tour. Give you an idea of what the shop is all about. Most important thing in this picture is the breaker panel. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a look inside here. So I did a detailed drawing of it. And if you look, I actually wrote down what each breaker is for. Because that's really important, that you have the power available to do what you want to do. Like I said, whether it's compressor, welders, lift, you name it. Anyway, there's some artwork on the wall. That's a friend of mine, Dell. I'll be talking about him later. He does awesome artwork, and he did a rendition on one of the projects, so you'll be running into that. As we proceed down the side here, we can see the mighty railroad vise. A lot of people go, why on earth do you have something that big? Because it can bend anything and hold anything. It weighs like, I don't know, 350 pounds. Friend of mine got it out of a railroad shop, the Milwaukee Road, actually. So moving down here, I got the wash tank. I'd highly recommend any of you guys getting a wash tank or anything to clean parts, go with the aqueous stuff. This stuff really works good. It's all biodegradable. You don't have to deal with hazardous waste. It's just a better deal. And it's the chemicals, the old solvents are no good for your nervous system. Believe me, I'm old and I know. So I'm gonna move down here. I got a couple shelves up here, hold on to extra stuff. Here's my desk. It's nice to have a lighted workspace where you can, do drawings. I call them cartoons because my friends all do everything in CAD, but I'm old, so I do everything with pen and pencil. And my guys just draw it up with a CAD drawing, and away we go. Anyway, moving back over here, a lot of shelf space, and when you don't have much of a footprint, you just go up the walls. And I learned this from a couple guys, that one being John Butera. John Butera was a hot rodder way back when. He did a lot of street rods and stuff like that, but he had pictures of his shop, and he had a lot of stuff in a small area. So in order to do the work, you got to have the tools, and you got to be able to store the tools. You got to be able to find the tools. So I got my Modine heater up here. I think it's about 65,000 BTU, and that takes good care of me in the winter in Wisconsin. With this footprint, it's probably a little bit overkill, but there's one box. I've got 4 boxes and some shelves and stuff like that, just to organize nuts, bolts, you name it. And over here is kind of the paint department, sand department. There's another one of Dell's tin signs that he's done for the Children's Hospital. Awesome stuff. Anyway, and little shelf there. That's where normally my 210 Miller wire feed system goes. And that's a really awesome deal. If you can find an old one, the analog ones, the digital ones are fine, but the newer ones seem to have a problem every once in a while with circuit boards, and the old ones just last and keep on rolling. Mine, I think, is almost 30 years old, never had an issue. Miller makes good stuff. Back in here, this is kind of the grinding area. So I found these elevator walls. They're made out of stainless steel. So I thought it might be a good idea, as soon as I'd be throwing sparks all over the place all the time, and Lord knows you don't want to start your wall on fire, and then the insulation behind the wall, which would be really a lot of fun to put the fire out. Anyway, I got a rack up there. Oh, there's a couple crankshafts hanging. I do that. I'm building a couple motors. You'll see those later on. Now here's a 4x8 welding table that I made. And then, as you can see, it has a cutout in the middle. And the reason for that is to clear the post of the lift. So, when I move back here, you can kind of get a better idea what's going on this wall here. It just enables me to get around a little bit better. And then if I do have anything that's needs to span that area that I think it's about 2.5 feet wide. I just go right over the top. I've leveled this table out. It's probably level within about 1/64 of an inch, end to end, side to side, all that good stuff. I got some hole punches and flaring tools from the Mittler brothers, some angle clamps and vices and all that stuff. I got an old Powermatic drill press. It's kind of nice because it's variable speed. It's easier for me to change speeds. There's a little menagerie of extra material I keep laying around for all those little brackets and stuff and things. Over here I got a saw that really has been worked out well for me, and it's a jet saw. It can be a horizontal saw or it can be a vertical saw. I made this diving board on there and I use it mostly in a vertical position, but I can saw I think up to 6x9 tubing. I got a Mittler Brothers hand 180-degree bender there. Put my vice grips and my C-clamps down underneath. I've got to just try to tuck everything in. I got storage underneath the bench. That cabinet there has tooling and sanding discs and more vice grips. I just picked up this TIG welder. It's really a nice one. It's been highly rated. It's called Prime Weld. And these guys, they're fairly inexpensive, about $1,000. By the time I built the cart myself, I got a couple of tanks from a buddy of mine. I got storage there on the bottom for all my perishables. Got an I-beam press back here hiding in the corner. Sometimes I have to clear things out in order to get to it, but it's a 20-ton, so it can push pretty much anything, any bearings or bend anything I need to bend. This old box here is just for hardware. This box over here is my former toolbox. When I was working at Harley, I worked at Harley for 20 years. Fortunately, they let me take that home with me, so that was a great deal. So you can kind of get a good idea of what's happening. And then lighting is really key. It's kind of like anything. If you can't see what you're doing, it makes it a lot more difficult. As you can see, I have one ballast out over there. I've got to fix that. And really works out well. You don't miss much. I epoxy coated the floors. I used U-coat. They've held up really well. I think it's been like almost 15 years now with running floor jacks over it and, cutting torch and molten metal and all kinds of fun stuff. But you get the gist of how I set things up and the reason why, in order to facilitate whatever it is I need to do. And a workspace is key. It makes a project a lot more fun to work on, and you're much more likely to have success. So that's what I'm gonna say about that. And thanks for watching. And I'll be back at you soon with more content.